Hey you guys, hello and welcome to the Good News Sunday Show. My name is Sonya, McCllough Lockridge, and I am the host and founder and creator of the Good News Sunday Show. And today is February 10th, the 40th day of the new year. And it also happens to be my birthday. And for my birthday, we are giving away 7 copies to individuals who send a self-addressed stamped envelope to my P.O. box here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And so also for today, we're just going to do a little Bible study, Sonya Mac style. So, and I'm going to explain a little bit about some of the things that I've come to learn over time, well, since 2015. The first thing is we have to use more than one text. One text does not give us, it's not an ample resource. And the other thing is I was blessed to view some of the If gathering that was live streamed from Dallas, Texas on Friday night, and I really enjoyed the speakers. I did not get to view any of it or listen to any of it on Saturday, but I did get to view a portion of it on Friday. So with that in mind, the If gathering, I began to think about the word gather. Now, of course, we know the word if is throughout the Bible numerous times. I don't know how many times right offhand. I do know there are several authors out there that have created works in regards to that one word if. But the word gather, I have a recollection of it in regards to the book of Genesis, and I thought my recollection was in regards to Joseph, but it wasn't. My recollection was in regard, I had to look it up, and it was in regards to Abraham. So that is where today's study, Sonya Mac style, and the Good News Sunday Show is going. So we're going to look at the word gather today. So how I've started this is I go to my trusty computerized phone and I look at the word gather. And the word gather is found in the biblical text 432 times. The King James Version of the biblical text 432 times. That's how many times the word gather is found in the biblical text. And since I got myself this new Bible for my birthday, which I just talked about in a video earlier, I bought the Message Bible for my birthday. So, Genesis 25:8 in particular is the passage that I personally have a reference for, Genesis 25:8. And that's what I was thinking when I started to think about the word gather. I was thinking about Genesis 25:8. So let's look at Genesis 25:8 in the KJV Word Study Bible. Let's look at Genesis 25:8 in this particular text. And Genesis 25:8. Genesis 25:8. We're going there. We really are. It takes me a minute. Genesis 25:8. Oh no, that's not the right one. No, that's about it. Okay, let me look back at my little trusty iPhone and see what verse we're looking at. the one that I remember was in regards to Abraham. Okay, it is Genesis 25:8. Then Abraham gave up the ghost and died in a good old age, an old man and full of years, and was gathered to his people. There it is in Genesis 25:8. So we're going to look at it in this particular text, not on the phone. 6. Then Abraham gave up the ghost and died in a good old age, an old man and full of years, and was gathered to his people. Okay, so there we have it. That's the one that I remember. That is my personal reference for the word gathered that runs around in my head and my heart about Abraham. Because as our father of faith, I really like him. He's special to me. So, Eugene Peterson's The Message text. Abraham lived 175 years. Then he took his final breath. He died happy at a ripe old age, full of years, and was buried with his family. His son Isaac and Ishmael buried him in the cave in McCllough, in the field of Ekron, son of Zohar, the Hittite, next to Mamre. It was the field that Abraham had bought from the Hittites. Abraham was buried next to his wife Sarah. After Abraham's death, God blessed his son Isaac. Isaac lived at Beer Lahai Roi. Okay, so that's what the Message text says in verses 7 through 11. The Message text is not a verse for verse translation, it appears. I haven't looked up. There's a chart out there that tells you what each text, how it's translated. And the Message text is not a verse by verse, nor a word for word translation. And I talk about that in detail in another one of my videos. But Genesis 25:8 in the King James Version reads, Then Abraham gave up the ghost and died in a good old age, an old man and full of years, and was gathered to his people. And his sons Isaac and Ishmael buried him in the cave at Machpelah in the field of Ekron, the son of Zohar the Hittite, which is before Mamre, the field which Abraham purchased of the sons of Heth. There was Abraham buried, and Sarah his wife. And it came to pass, after the death of Abraham, that God blessed his son Isaac, and Isaac dwelt by the well in Lahai Roi. I may have pronounced that wrong, but you'll forgive me, I'm sure. So, that is, or was, my personal reference for the word gathered in regards to the Bible. So, in this particular King James Word Bible, it gives us the Greek and Hebrew definitions for words. So, on page 47 of that text, the Hebrew word for gather is asap. And it gives us each occurrence of the word gather in the text. And it gives us a definition. The word asap means to gather for any purpose, to collect, to remove. It was often used as a description of death. Being gathered to one's ancestors is what that means in Genesis 25:8 in particular. It is also used to describe gathering the people for any purpose, such as safety, worship, or battle. Using the phrase, gathered to his people, in reference to death is an affirmation that there is life after death and that Christians will be united with one another. Okay, so there you have it. There is what the word gather means in Hebrew. Asa. It sort of means to gather for worship, safety, to gather your people in regards to death. So it means several things in several passages of the biblical text. So that is how sometimes we, through no fault of our own, take the Word of God out of context, because for that word gather only in particular, there were several different meanings. And the one that I read and the one that I remembered was in regard to death. However, there are many other meanings of the very same word. Now, our Bibles that we read today will use the word gather in the same context. But that is when we read the words. That is not necessarily a study of the Word of God. Therein is the reason for keyword Bible studies. Is each time we read a passage of the text, not only do we need to know the historical context, but we need to know the particular context of a given word, such as gather. Because the word that I remember, gather, in the biblical text was in regard to Abraham gathering his people together in regards to his death that was pending. So, in 2016, the Lord blessed me with this Bible that was published in 1926 in the state of my birth, which is Illinois. I was not born in Tennessee, although I love Tennessee. I was born on an air base in the state of Illinois, an air base that is now closed, actually. I was born in Champaign County, the city of Rantoul, in 1963. So, looking at this text, it has many supplemental resources within the body of this text. And it's just amazing. There are at least 300 pages of resources before you even get to Genesis 1. Now, as we well know, our Bibles today do not contain all those additional resources. They may contain a concordance, but that's usually it. That's where it stops, is a concordance. But the other resources were needed in 1926. And the other resources are needed in 2019. But in order to have those other resources, you have to buy additional resources. They're not contained within one book, like this particular book. And this book is the Keyword Study Bible, which just happens to be published in our great state of Tennessee. Actually, this Bible is published in Chattanooga. And this Bible, it points out the keywords to you within the biblical text. So this Bible doesn't necessarily point out every word, but the keywords that it deems are keywords, which, you know. So let's look at Genesis 25:8 in this King James Version of the Keyword Study Bible, which is published in Chattanooga, or it comes out of the city of Chattanooga. So, Genesis 25:8. And I always get here and I just lose my train of thought. Am I even in verse 25? Yes, I'm not looking at 8. Then Abraham gave up the ghost and died in good old age, an old man and full of years, and was gathered to his people. Okay, the key words that this particular study Bible is pointing out are gave up the ghost, died. Yes, died is a key word in this particular text. Good, old age, and old man, and people. So those are all key words in one verse. 25:8. 1, gave up the ghost. 2, the word died. 3, good. 4, old age. 5, an old man. And then the word people. We learned from Eugene Peterson's text that Abraham was 175 years old. So he translated the word old age to the exact age of Abraham's death. And Eugene Peterson also says that he was happy. I'm not sure which one of these words translates to happy, but it may be good. Okay? So, but there again, if it's good news, I'm not sure that we could actually call it happy news. You see what I'm saying here? If happy means good in regards to the state of Abraham's life when he died, then happy may not necessarily mean good news. Okay? You get me? So that's why we have to, it's very, very necessary to study the key words in the biblical text. So the beauty of all of this is that we are blessed with time to dig into the Word of God and apply it to this our one life. Now, if happy means good and we're having a good life, then, and I'm not saying it does because I have not looked at the word happy or good in regards to the Hebrew and Greek keywords or Aramaic. I haven't looked at that. That's not something I've done as of yet. But, yeah. So, if happy means good and we're living a good life, then we're living a happy life. And many of us act like that maybe we're not. So, that's all I have for today of the Good News Sunday show. I thank you for watching, and remember, I'll say it again, anyone who sends a self-addressed stamped envelope to my P.O. Box, which is 1013 Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and the zip is 37129, I will send a new copy of the King James Version of the Bible. Now, okay, what am I going to do if I get more requests than 7? Then, if that be the case, then I will go to the Lord in prayer and beg and plead for more, because that would mean that the word, a fresh new copy of the word of the Lord would need to be in the hands, the hearts, and the homes of many. So if that be the case, then prayer is where I will go to ask the Lord to resource or fund more biblical texts. This is Sonya signing out for the Good News Sunday show. Thank you. And remember, we still have time. As long as there is breath pumping through the lungs of our bodies, we still have time to dig into His Word and apply it and align it with this, our one life. This is Sonya signing out. Have a great day, the 40th day of the year 2019. Thank you.